Welcome to this session highlighting one of this year's Search Engine Land Award winners. I'm Jessica Bowman, Enterprise SEO Consultant and author of the Executive SEO Playbook, and I'm here today with Sean Arnell. Sean is the VP and Director of SEO at Sosemo. Sosemo is a strategic planning, buying, and campaign management agency that specializes in marketing brands across the digital landscape. They won this year's Search Engine Land Award for Small Agency of the Year. Now, I know you're all excited to hear about this award-winning case study and how you can apply some of the same tactics to your marketing initiatives. Sean, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Jessica. And I want to start today by thanking Search Engine Land for recognizing Sosemo as the Small Agency of the Year for SEO. It's really a tremendous achievement, and it's such a testament to the incredible SEO team we have here. And with that being said, we want to get into the objective of today's presentation, which is to showcase our strategic approach, execution, and the impactful results that led to this great achievement for us. Want to highlight our work with specifically a GPS wireless dog fence client and really demonstrate our commitment to exceeding their client goals through a tailored, data-driven approach. So that being said, I'll get right into it. All right, we want to start with goal setting. So as a new entrant into the GPS dog fence market, our goals were centered around growing awareness of the product and technology while maximizing performance for mid and lower funnel search terms to increase our clients' conversions. So as far as what that means, we set some goals to really align our campaign with for 2024. And those goals were specifically achieving a 50% year-over-year increase in page one non-brand keywords, because with those non-brand keywords, they really demonstrate that you're growing awareness of the product at different touch points within the consumer journey. So that's number one. Number two was to raise their domain rating by 10%. Obviously, within SEO, there's a strong correlation between domain rating or domain authority and your ability to rank for competitive keywords. So we wanted to make sure that we were increasing that over time. And then lastly, we just wanted to make sure that we were securing an increase in non-brand clicks. So specifically, we were looking to secure a 25% year-over-year increase in non-brand clicks. And again, the reason being, those are typically more competitive keywords, a really great way to grow awareness of your brand for anywhere throughout the consumer journey, whether you're talking awareness, whether you're talking the consideration phase. They're really key in driving awareness of the brand at different points. So that was really key for us to grow awareness of the brand. So within this, we're going to highlight some of the challenges involved and get into our specific campaigns and strategy for driving results within these goals that we set at the beginning of the year. We're going to start with our opportunity assessment. So within that, we're going to kick it off with our keyword listening analysis and content mapping exercise. So our content strategy really began with a robust keyword listening and analysis exercise, which allowed us to then pinpoint consumer intent and identify gaps in our clients' content strategy. Really what this meant was conducting this exercise and breaking down keyword topics by category and by where they sit within the consumer search journey. The keyword topics are prioritized not only by their search demand, but also by the organic competition associated with other results on page one. So it's sort of, we weigh the search demand and opportunity behind these keyword topics when you look at the search volume, but then we also look at what is the expected competition and what does that look like specifically within the top results on page one of the SERP page. We also recognize that replenishing the funnel was a key focus for our clients in 2024 and beyond. So we really worked with them to place a heavy emphasis on developing blog content recommendations that really informed our content calendar. So the emphasis was on creating blog content with a high search demand, laying the groundwork for future mid and lower funnel conversions. Our partnership with our content partner, I should say, Leads Conversion, really played a pivotal role in developing a comprehensive content calendar. So we conducted our keyword listening. We mapped out 60 keyword topics throughout the year that we wanted to make sure that we developed in line with key search demand. So if there are peaks in search demand, wanted to make sure that we got that content out there so that it could perform at those specific peaks. And we handed off these topics to our content partner to get them written with specific topics in mind. You know, we have a primary keyword and secondary keywords. They went out there and they wrote the content that aligned with that and ultimately helped drive the success that we're looking at today. The specific topics that we highlighted cater to dog owners really unfamiliar with GPS fence technology, effectively broadening our clients' reach and establishing thought leadership. So, great example of that. One of the better performing blog posts that we've seen is a blog post titled, "What is the best dog food for French Bulldogs?" Uh, best dog food for French Bulldogs, for example, is searched about 12,100 times a month. And within that blog post, there are other subtopics that we targeted: dietary needs, nutrition, health concerns. All of those keywords carry significant search demand and really helped us grow visibility for different terms and different topics that are going to raise awareness of our client's product. And the result was, to date, we've already published 50 blog articles that yielded a 35% year-over-year increase in clicks, and a significant 121% increase in page one rankings for what we deem as informational keywords, adding over 5,600 new informational keywords to page one of Google search results. So you've seen tremendous success within our blog content publishing this year alone. All right, and now I'm going to get into what we deemed as our digital PR efforts, which involve securing placements and backlinks from top tier tech and pet blogs. Specifically, we were able to secure backlinks from what we call niche edits, which is a process in which you secure a backlink from an existing well-performing article within the client's vertical rather than going after net new articles and getting them published. These articles already have authority, they already carry performance, so they're really more beneficial in the short term to gaining traction for some of the keywords that you're targeting specifically and helping to improve your overall authority. So with our strategy to target these niche edits, we helped contribute to a 22% year-over-year increase in page one keywords that carry commercial intent and helped us achieve notable rankings for terms like dog fences, which we were able to get to the number 3 position. That term in and of itself carries about 33,100 searches a month. And then going beyond that, we were able to get to the number 4 position for best GPS dog collar, which carries 5,400 searches a month. And these efforts translated to a 55% increase in page one transactional keywords as well. We were also able to gain the page one rankings for branded competitor terms, which included terms like invisible fence and pet safe wireless fence, which are 2 competitors of ours. We were able to get to positions number 8 and number 3 respectively and drive additional brand exposure and improve overall media efficiency. This effectively served as organic conquesting, whereby appearing on page one for competitor branded terms, we were able to gain traffic from consumers who were specifically seeking out our competitors and maybe weren't planning to click through to our website, but by appearing there, we were able to do a bit of organic conquesting and get them to consider our client's product instead. This is obviously very valuable traffic, as branded terms tend to yield a higher conversion rate due to consumer intent. All right, and now finally the results. So just measuring our results against what our benchmarks were, we were able to see a 15% increase year over year in domain rating, which outperformed our target of 10%. We achieved a 146% year over year growth in non-brand page one keywords, where our goal was 50%. And our keyword ranking increases drove a 91% year over year increase in non-brand clicks against a 25% goal. So all in all, we overachieved against our benchmarks and really helped drive success for our client in 2024. All right, and now I'm just going to further illustrate what some of those successes look like and how that trended out over the entire year. And here you see a year-over-year comparison going all the way back to June of 2023 against what we measured in June of 2024. What's interesting with this is we submitted the same client for a Search Engine Land Award last year, and that was also based on year-over-year growth. So we're now going back a year later and measuring against what we saw even a year ago, and you can see how much more we've grown exponentially since then. So we really wanted to highlight that with the link acquisition that we were doing, we were able to increase our authority and drive a higher domain rating alongside, and it correlates so well alongside the non-brand keyword rankings that we saw as well. So we saw a 7-point increase in domain rating that really correlated well with that 1,550 increase in non-brand page one keywords that we drove year over year. We also, with that, saw a 690 growth of 692 keywords in positions 1 through 3, and a growth of 858 keywords in positions 4 through 10, with those being increases of 344% for positions 1 through 3 and 99% for positions 4 through 10 year over year, which really helps position us well in terms of those non-brand keywords that we're targeting. All right, now we want to highlight what that non-brand keyword growth looked like across the consumer journey. And this is a slide that I was particularly excited to review today, as it really differentiates our submission this year from what we provided when we were finalists for the same award last year. This highlights not only the growth that we saw at various touch points within the consumer journey, but also shows the tangible growth that we experienced for highly valuable terms. So you can see within the informational phase, we experienced 121% year-over-year growth in keywords. Within the commercial phase, that would be a 22% growth. Navigational was about 8%. And transactional, which was where the bulk of our link acquisition and PR efforts were centered, we experienced a 55% year-over-year growth. And we also wanted to show not only what the overall growth looked like, but also what keywords we saw increases for within each phase of the journey there. So for example, for informational, we were able to get to position number 3 for French Bulldog lifespan. Again, going back to that same blog article I was speaking to earlier. That search term itself carries about 18,100 searches a month. Do Golden Retriever Shed, another blog article that we put out there. We were able to get to position number 5. That keyword just by itself carries a search volume of 8,100. Within the commercial phase, terms like dog fences, wireless dog fence, really valuable terms that we want to go out and target to grow awareness of the brand. Those are searched 3,100 times a month. We were able to get to positions number 3 and number 1. Within the navigational set, where you get to more branded keywords, obviously we're able to rank on page 1 for our own clients' branded keywords, but then just the fact that we were able to do so for competitor terms is exceptional. We were able to get to position number 8 for an invisible fence, and position number 3 for pet safe wireless fence. Again, doing a bit of organic conquesting where people were coming to our clients' websites. They now see us in search results and maybe a bit more inclined to explore the competition. And then within the transactional phase, highly valuable keywords that drive conversions, we were able to leverage our PR efforts and get to number 4 for best GPS dog collar and to position number 6 for wireless dog fence and training collar. So all in all, our efforts across both the content that we were putting out there and across the digital PR efforts, the link acquisition drove tremendous growth throughout the consumer journey. And then lastly, we just wanted to highlight some of the non-brand click increases that we experienced throughout the year. Again, similar to what we did in a previous slide where we looked at the domain rating and just wanted to see if it aligned with our increase in non-brand keywords. Here we wanted to show the increase in referring domains. So anytime you go out and get a backlink, that's a new domain that's referring or sending traffic to you essentially. So we wanted to correlate with that with our non-brand clicks and see if there was growth along both at the same time. And ultimately, that's exactly what this proved out to be. So within the 91% increase in non-brand clicks, we also saw a 95% increase in referring domains. So it really does speak to how effective it still is to go out there and secure backlinks from authoritative, relevant sources within your industry or within your vertical. All right, and then lastly here, just want to call out some of the tools that we used. All of this proved hugely helpful for not only this submission, but the results that helped us get there. Number one, just some first-party tools that helped us get to where we got to today. Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and Google Keyword Planner, really essential in measuring performance and ultimately showing what the opportunity is in some of the keywords we're targeting. Some third-party tools that were very helpful for us, BrightEdge, SEMrush, Ahrefs, and Moz, all key in the success that we drove for our clients. And then lastly, just some of the different tools that we use beyond that. For link acquisition specifically, Fat Joe and Bazoom have been hugely helpful in targeting the right places to get these backlinks. So again, relevant industry blogs that would send quality traffic to our client and really helped improve our authority. And then lastly, our own proprietary keyword listing and analysis was hugely helpful in ideating and helping identify the topics that we wanted to go out and not only write from a blog content creation perspective, but also helped identify some of the keywords that we might want to target at different phases within the consumer journey. And that wraps up our submission. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. This has been a great exercise for us. We really appreciate you giving us our time today.
All right. Thank you, Sean. That was a fascinating presentation. And I have 4 questions for you. The
Sure.
first jumped out to me like very, very early on in your presentation. You said you got all of this with 50 articles. And a lot of companies tend to think, oh, it's overwhelming how many articles we need to write. But 50 seems very manageable. So I just want to confirm 50 articles led to over 5,000 information intent keywords. That's not including brand and that sort of thing. Can
Correct.
you Okay, great. Can you kind of explain these articles? How did your articles get such great results? I'm wondering, like, were they extraordinarily long in, very long form content? Did you have like a certain level of specificity and granularity that you wanted writers to get into? Because I think that's a really good achievement on average, 1,000 new information intent keywords per article.
Sure. Yeah.
No,
And
1,500.
there's sure. And there's a few different facets to that. I think number one, through the keyword listening, we really came up with topics not only that carried a lot of search volume, but also we were able to look at the competition and say, okay, if we're able to get a blog post into market that speaks to these topics, we feel like we can get to page 1 pretty quickly and actually start driving traffic just based around the organic competition. We use SEMrush actually to help us with that. They have some great competitive scores that allowed us to determine where we might want to target some of these keywords. And then also just by doing some searches to see what's on page 1, seeing how well they're built out, seeing what their word count is and what topics they spoke to. All of that really helped inform the content that we got into market. So yes, that is a lot of additional keywords to get out of 50 articles and a lot of traffic to drive. But really, when you weigh the search demand against the competition, it really helps put into perspective how likely it is to get there, especially in the short term. And that's ultimately what we did. And our suite of tools really helped us identify those topics. Our content partner is incredible when it comes to being able to take these topics and run with it based on us giving them some of the keywords we want to target, the primary and secondary keywords. And that's what really got us here today.
Great. And I just want to point out for the audience here, he said something that I think is very important. It's what I tell all my writers when I train them. You look at the search results to understand what the content is, what kind of content is needed. And I think, Sean, that's what you were basically saying is we did a lot of, once we knew the keywords, looking at the search results to understand what kind of content is ranking so that we identify what needs to go in. Is that correct, Sean?
That's correct. And it's such an important thing, Jessica. It's not only understanding the intent behind what people are searching when they seek out these keywords, but also what's winning for them specifically. Again, I go back to that content depth. It's not just about word count. It's about how many words are necessary to fully explain the topic that you're targeting with this blog post. So I really do think that's an important exercise. It's great that SEMrush and similar tools have the ability to tell you what the search demand and competition looks like. But I still do think it warrants that manual search where you just go out, see what's ranking for these keywords, and ultimately what's driving their success as well.
Yeah, and I think that was probably one of the most crucial things to success for this particular case study. I think that's where a lot of companies miss the mark. They're not really taking the time to really evaluate what's going on in the search results. So kudos to you guys and your team for really, really taking that. Okay, next question. What challenges did you encounter while implementing your digital PR campaigns? And then how did you overcome them to achieve such significant growth?
Sure. So I think keep in mind this award is for Small Agency of the Year. So I think
Mhm.
resources and bandwidth are a concern anytime you're doing link acquisition, especially at a smaller sized agency. Unfortunately, we don't have hours to spend on link outreach, especially when, the success rate on link outreach could be as low as 1 to 2%. And that's even in best case scenarios. So that was really a challenge for us. And it came down to working with partners that would help secure the link placement in an organic and natural way for Google and search engines. I mentioned some of the ones that we've worked with specifically. I think Fat Joe has written articles for Search Engine Land that ultimately is what brought us to them in the first place. We ran some tests with them. We're really happy with the links we were able to secure through their platform. They were relevant to our industry within the pet and tech space, and they carried a significant amount of authority. And then ultimately, by getting those backlinks secured, we did see those correlations with domain rating and with the number of referring domains alongside our non-brand visibility. So, I really think bandwidth more than anything is a concern when it comes to link acquisition and digital PR. And I think it is helpful to work with a partner that you could really trust to get you those valuable backlinks in a natural way. So that's ultimately how we got there amid all the concerns we had around resources and bandwidth.
All right, that's great. Okay, next question. I sense that you have a proprietary keyword listening and analysis tool. So I wanted to know if you could kind of explain that to everyone and how it contributed to identifying those high value topics and optimizing your content strategy.
Sure. So our keyword listening is a beast. It's a very in-depth keyword research, which every SEO is aware of keyword research, but this goes a little bit more above and beyond. We look at thousands of potential keywords for our clients. We break it down by category, but we also break it down by where it sits within the consumer journey. So that really helps ideate the topics that drove the success that we had today. So, one category specifically was blog content and upper funnel. There are actually multiple categories associated with upper funnel. One of them was blog content. And again, it goes back to not only what is the search demand behind these topics, the search volume, how is it trending? What does it look like over 3 months in terms of seasonality? What does it look like year over year to show if that category is actually growing overall? And then at the same time, we pull in paid search metrics to show if we could drive efficiency by gaining visibility for some of these topics as well. And then lastly, again, we do pull in some metrics from some of the tools that we leverage, like SEMrush. What does the organic competition look like from it? Because if it's a highly competitive keyword, yeah, the search demand is great, but probably not something we can target overnight and expect to gain traction for. So if we see that there's high search demand and that there is lower competition, that really clues us into the fact that, okay, this is a term we might want to target, especially for some more short-term gains. And then just beyond that, we do have our own proprietary score that weighs those factors against each other. What is the search demand? What does the competition look like? And then we've also worked in where does this sit within the consumer journey? We added additional weight to terms that are a bit more transactional, which are obviously a bit more valuable to the brand, but also, still weighing that informational terms are important. They do grow awareness over time. They do replenish the funnel. So that is an area of focus for us as well. So long story short, that's how we leverage our keyword listening and analysis. It's basically a really in-depth keyword research that helps us grow traffic for our clients.
All right, that's wonderful. Okay, the next question. What key insights or lessons did you learn from this project and case study that you would then apply to future SEO projects to replicate this level of success?
That's a really great question, Jessica. And I think it's always key to look at the entire consumer journey. Clients will get caught up on immediate transactions and immediate ROI. And that's important. But I think you have to weigh the idea that you have to replenish the funnel. There has to be success within every phase of the consumer journey to drive overall success and revenue long term. So while we did target that, especially through our digital PR and link acquisition efforts, as far as driving ROI, I think specifically we want to make sure that we're also growing awareness at the same time. And those carry different KPIs. So we can't come to our client and say, hey, this article on French Bulldogs drove, this much revenue year over year. That's not the goal of it. You have to identify what the KPIs are at different phases of the consumer journey and the tactics that align with that to really set expectations. So, for some of the keywords we were targeting with our link acquisition efforts, best GPS dog fence, yeah, that might drive some additional revenue, and there is an ROI against any of the budget we put behind our link acquisition. But when we talk about putting those articles into market and developing that blog content, we're really targeting keyword rankings. We're targeting non-brand impressions, non-brand clicks. So I think ultimately it's a matter of identifying the KPIs at different phases in the consumer journey and really benchmarking those to drive success.
Great. And then you said something, one little phrase, I just want to make sure that everyone understood. It was replenish the funnel. Can you explain for everyone what you meant by replenish the funnel? It just really rang true. I was like, yeah, we need to know what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we got to a point where we were pretty happy with our visibility for a lot of the mid and lower funnel terms. There were additional ones we can go out
Mhm.
and target. But I think for the most part, we felt like we were a bit maxed out where we were just relying on our own, I guess, or I should say, industry increases in awareness of this. So, GPS dog fence technology, as that grows over time, that would ultimately be the driver in us increasing conversions and revenue if we weren't going out and focusing on upper funnel and growing awareness of the brand as well. So, without being at the mercy of that, we really wanted to make sure that we were going out and getting not only dog owners, but also we have tactics in market now that target prospective dog owners as well. And it's so important to really replenish the funnel because, they may be seeking out things like, can my dog eat strawberries today as they're cutting up strawberries at their kitchen counter? And they come across our client and it's like, I didn't know that existed. 6, 8 months down the road, they might be looking for this technology. Maybe they don't have a fenced in backyard. So it really is so
Mhm.
important to replenish the funnel and grow awareness and get people essentially aware of the technology and aware of the product so that if it suits their needs down the road, you're right there top of mind for them.
Yep, very good. Fantastic. This was a wonderful case study. I hope everyone learned something, but that's all we have time for today. Congratulations again, Sean, on your exciting achievement. And thank you for taking the time to share your insights and tips with the SMX community. If you have any questions, those of you that are watching, if you have any questions for Sean, please feel free to reach out to him on LinkedIn. You should see his contact info on the right-hand side of your screen. And as always, please take a moment to share your feedback about this session using the Rate Session tool, which is also found in the right of this video window. Next up, we have a 10-minute break. So go stretch your legs, grab another cup of coffee, and join us for more great sessions coming up at 2:35 p.m. Eastern. See you then.
Great. Thank you so much, Jessica.